Just recently, I covered the L500 from NOMVDIC. That's a tri-laser portable projector, full HD only. Now, if you're after 4K, then they do have this more premium model, which is definitely worth a look. It is the P1000, and it has a maximum brightness of 2300 ANSI lumens, so it is super bright. It's got HDR10 support, and if you happen to game and connect a PC up to this, then you can run at 1080p 240 Hz with a latency of just 4.2 milliseconds, basically making this also a gaming projector. Now, it does have built-in speakers left and right of it. They're from Harman Kardon. They do sound really good. I'll give you a sample of them later on in this video. And with that 4K image, we also do have their AI image, which is time of flight camera for autofocus, auto keystone correction, and you've got 4-point keystone correction too with this. Included with the P1000, you'll find a quick start guide, their support card here with their social media accounts too, 2 AAA batteries, we've got our power cable, Type-C to Type-C cable, and the remote. Now, this is backlit, which I really like to see with a projector, which makes sense. You're going to be using this in a dark room. So it has standard layout here, so directional keypad, OK in the middle, back, home, start, stop, volume, mute, and focus and menu key right here. Now, it doesn't have Android TV, so this is why the remote is lacking a dedicated button, say for Netflix or YouTube. And lastly here, our power supply. So this is from Delta, 180 watts. So I love the look of this projector. I think it does stand out. It looks a little different. I like the contrast here of the black, the white, the transparent bottom, the base of it, and it just looks high quality. And the plastic and the finish of it is excellent, very good. So let me talk a little bit about what's on offer here with this projector. I mentioned at the start there that it's got the very bright 2300 ANSI lumens. Now, color reproduction, very good. It's 125% of REC .709, so that's a wide color gamut. And you'll see that there are some sensors. That's because it does have a time of flight, auto instant focus. We've got auto horizontal and vertical keystone correction, and you've got the 4-corner adjustment. Then we have our inputs here. So this USB port, that's the service one. So that's for them. We can't do anything really with that. And now we have a Type A port. So that output's here just 5 volts, but it should be enough to run something like a Fire Stick from Amazon that you can plug straight into the HDMI port here. That's HDMI 2.1, of course. And we've got Type C. So that's going to be great for your Nintendo Switch, laptops, and even phones that do have video out. You can plug them right in there. Now you see we've got some cooling here, and there's plenty of fins. You can see that's going to be dissipating the heat, and of course it's actively cooled. There's a fan inside. I'll give you a sample later on of the fan noise. Then we have our power plug here too, and there's one speaker on this side. There's another on the other. We've got sound by Harman Kardon again with this model. The other Harman Kardon speaker is right there. So we do get the stereo separation, unlike the L500 that I reviewed from them that just had the speakers on one side. So it's great that they've done this with the more premium model. It does make sense. And if you look through here, it's hard to see. There is a cooling fan. So that is what is going to be moving that air through the projector, keeping it cool. Then the top, there are some touch controls. Now, these are very responsive and handy. If you don't have the remote right next to you, then you simply just tap here. You can adjust the volume or stop and start. This is our physical button, power on and off with status LED, and quite hidden away is a carry handle. So I really like this design choice to build this built-in handle, and it simply just pops up like so. You can grab that, it's quite sturdy, and then I can just move that projector around very easily. And I'll just show you when I place it back and let go of this handle, falls back in place like so. So it's basically hidden away. You'd never really know it was there. Now for my setup, I do have the projector on a tripod. You'll see that the image is above the projector itself. Like the L500 I reviewed, it runs its own proprietary operating system. So we have a basic menu set up here. So there's file management if you wanted to run, for example, your external files and plug them into the USB drive, flash drives, pen drives, hard drives as well. And that's where you would do it. App Center, so this is their own basic apps here. So the keyboard application, the remote app, and the other one is just the remote peering. So under settings, there's a few things you can tweak in here. There's the date, basic settings, advanced settings. There are firmware updates. I'm currently on version 1. There's no more updates at the time of me recording this hands-on video. And you'll see that there's just the other menus here. So it's very simple, very basic. And if you go right over to the left of the menu, you'll see that we have the Type-C port, HDMI. You can select local storage and USB as your sources. Now, because this model doesn't have Android TV, sadly, it's not built into it, I am using here a Dynalink is what it's called. Now, this is a very cheap 4K Android TV box. It runs Android TV 11, I believe it is the version. And this means I've got Netflix in 4K certified. I have Amazon Prime TV. Now, other alternative, which is very good as well, and at a good price, is a Fire Stick. So you could get a 4K Fire Stick from Amazon and you would have everything in full HD. In fact, 4K, which is what you want. Even this UI, this is in 4K. I can see that it's definitely looking a lot sharper than it typically is. So with this, I've got all the apps I need. So that gets around one problem and it's a simple solution. Now the quality of this projector, straight away I've noticed that, wow, it's looking very good. Now I'm trying to record the best possible as close to what it looks like in real life. Very difficult to record projectors. I've mentioned this in some of my other videos that I often struggle with the shutter rate. You may see a little bit of banding. You may see some of the color tint off slightly or the white balance. I do apologize for that. It's just so difficult to record these projectors. I'm trying to get it spot on and this is the absolute best I can do it. Now looking at the Keystone right now at the moment, it's very good. Okay, now my wall is flat. It's a white wall and I'm projecting currently at what I've measured around about 120 inches and it's right up to 150 inches and the image quality is looking excellent. So this footage of one of my own videos is looking excellent. I really do like the way it's represented here, the colors. It may seem like it's a little bit overexposed, but that's just on camera the way it's coming through. But also in my recording, it was a very bright summer's day here, and I possibly had some of these scenes a little bit overexposed. But the colors, they are looking really how I remember it when I recorded this video. So they are a good, very good color reproduction. Now we've got a contrast ratio, remember here, of 3 million to 1. And the blacks, again, no speckle. So this is great. Exactly like the L500 model. That's a cheaper model that's full HD from them. I do recommend you check that out if you're on a bit of a tighter budget. And there's no noise whatsoever in here that I can see. None of that horrible speckle, none of that grain. And right away, I'm seeing those colors. They are popping out very bright to this image. So that's a 2300 ANSI lumens, remember, and what it's projecting, what it's using is from Texas Instruments. You know, they're very big in the projector area. So we're looking at a DMP chip. This is 0.65 inches, and that's how they're able to get the really good contrast of the 3 million to 1 with this model, and those colors are looking excellent. Now, I hope I'm doing this justice with my recording because this looks fantastic. I am really impressed. Sharpness is good. The optics is great. It's all uniformed. And that auto keystone correction and auto focus, absolutely spot on. No problems. This image looks stunning. What I've done now is just turn on a light. Now, this is a very powerful studio light. And I'm shining it not directly onto the image, but this is to simulate what it'll be like with daylight. So I have some daylight coming in through the window. And now I'll just put it right on the image. It's shining right onto my wall now. You can see that, yes, it's looking a little bit washed out, but it's faring reasonably well because, of course, it's got a very bright 2300 ANSI lumens. Now, turning the light off, you can see, there we go. Now it's back to how it should look, which looks absolutely stunning. I'm really happy with the color reproduction here. So to check out the gaming performance, I've plugged in my PlayStation 5, and the good news is it has detected this automatically as an HDR display. So I need to go through the typical setup here, the 3 screens, to tweak the whites, the blacks, and the grays. Just so happens I am in a perfect spot to test out the HDR because it has this real bright lamp, and funny enough, it's a projector too. So it's projecting the light onto those particular statues there, and I've got a puzzle that I need to try and solve, which is a little tricky. I haven't actually had much time on it. And then we've got real dark areas on the map too with the HDR. And this image is, yep, it's looking very good. And I can tell the difference from using their previous projector, as mentioned, that L500 with a full HD over to now the HD. This certainly looks quite a bit sharper to me. A lot better, this image quality. Input latency here is absolutely fantastic. I could happily game like this. So when I turn to the left and the right, I'm noticing 0 delay. I can't detect any lag at all with this. This is absolutely fantastic. So this is as good, I feel, as those marketed gaming projectors. It really is. This is fine, no problems at all. Really don't see any issues. So if you want to game a lot on a projector, this is definitely one of the models to go for. And compared to the L500, which is the last projector I covered, I'm noticing here a huge difference in that latency. It's just so good here. As I mentioned there at the start, it's got auto keystone correction and auto focus, and it does work really well. So the keystone, that is horizontal and vertical, of course. And watch as I just move the projector around now. So I'm going to just shake it around a bit and see how it's instantaneous, really, that it starts correcting that image. Okay, and it does a really good job of it. You'll see that splash screen that sometimes pops up. That's with the auto focus. Every time I move that about, it's just a matter of seconds, really. It does it on the fly, and it's very quick. I do like this, and it's only a split second you do see that NOMVDIC logo. Fan noise, like all projectors, especially very bright ones like this, you're going to hear the fan. It's got active cooling. It needs to keep all those components cool, of course. So the good news is it's a constant RPM. You don't hear the fan cycle up and down, so that's good. If you sit next to it, you will hear it. So here's a sample of the fan and exactly what to expect out of the P1000. And our speakers, so it's sound by Harman Kardon, and they sound fantastic considering the size of it and what they can put out in terms of bass and even volume. Not bad. So I'll give you a sample at about 80% volume. So I really do like what I'm seeing with this projector. There is no speckle grain with the blacks. The colors look really good, the color gamut, the coverage, the contrast, excellent. HDR10 seems to be working well, as I did that test there with my PlayStation 5. And really, I like this image quality. I think it is excellent. It's a big step up from the L500, which is, of course, a cheaper model, more affordable model from them. So it makes sense. And it's a leap ahead when it comes to the brightness being 2300 ANSI lumens. The design of the P1000, I do like. I think it's a great looking projector. I love the transparent bottom on it. And very clever of them to put a handle into it. It's so hidden away, you'd probably never actually know it was there unless I did mention it or you read it in the instructions or saw their website. So you just simply pull it up like so, and you've got a handle to move it about. Now that time of flight camera with the autofocus, auto keystone correction, which is part of their AI image, very good, works really well. As I demonstrated that when you move it about or if you were to accidentally knock it, it then focuses. And I found that focus to be pretty much spot on. Just like the L500, keystone correction, autofocus, all working good, really quite quick. And it's just that splash screen, the NOMVDIC one, you'll see pop up with the autofocus for just a second or so, and then it disappears. So I'm happy with the optics too. They look very good. I didn't notice any blurry patches, and you wouldn't expect that for the price that this model here is selling for. So speaking of price, it's about $1,700, $1,600 US, and the 4K image quality, I think what you're getting is very good. The downsides to it, as I mentioned there, and you saw straight away really too, is that there's no built-in Android TV, unfortunately, with this model. Now, I would have loved to have seen maybe a Linux OS on this with Netflix already on there. We're seeing with some other brands, but it is very easy for you to just go along and do what I did. I plugged in a Dynalink little TV box. It cost me like $30 US, and I've got 4K Netflix, 4K Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, all that. And a Fire Stick from Amazon would do the same job. So get the 4K Fire Stick from Amazon, just plug that in, plug in the power, and away you go. It's working. Then you'll have a fix to what this doesn't have, the Android TV. It's very easy to sort that out. Now the fan noise is my other little minor complaint about it. I don't find the fan noise to be that bad, but you do hear it. So if you're sitting next to it, you're going to hear it. At least it's a constant RPM, as I pointed out. So it's not one of those fans that suddenly increases and it sounds like a jet engine, or it sounds like a hairdryer is just being turned on. No, so it's not like, it doesn't go into hairdryer mode, but it's there, it's constant RPM. That's just a minor thing. And all up, an excellent unit. Thermals seem to be very good. You do feel the warm air coming out of it, and it does not seem to overheat. So all up, for the image quality, the sound, and then the low latency for gaming, this is an excellent projector here from NOMVDIC. So thank you so much for watching my hands-on video of it.